Hello, I am Mary Warren, the founder of Fat Girls in Fiction, and I just wanted to make a little video to be our first YouTube video to kind of explain who we
Yay!
are and what we're doing and introduce you to Katie, because a lot of you
Hello.
have seen my face all over YouTube because not YouTube, sorry, TikTok, because that's how this all started. So what kind of drew me to Fat Girls in Fiction in the first place was reading Spoiler Alert by Olivia Dane. And I realized I had never seen such positive fat representation in the fiction that I read. And I have just been devouring it ever since and wanted to make a place where people could come and find positive fat representation. And it has morphed into more. So just a little bit about me. I live in central Illinois with my 3 crazy children and husband, and we just kind of, do our thing. I grew up here. I was always active in arts communities, theater, and politics, and just super active there. So this is kind of the juncture of that. This is the art and the writing and all of that I've always been interested in, with a hint of activism. And that sums me up pretty well, which I will let Katie introduce herself. She's our lovely tech person, and none of this would be here without Katie.
Well, none of this would have been here at all without you starting it. But I'm Katie, and I also live in central Illinois. I grew up in the region, but not in the area that I'm in now. And I live with my husband and our daughter, who is 7. And I'm saying too much. So I grew up in the theatrical community also, and was into arts and reading, but started getting fat young. And so that started to affect the roles that I was cast in, even as a child. I started getting cast as old ladies before I was 15. So when I heard about this project and thought about the next generation of girls that are coming up, or people or humans that are coming up, and the fact that they could potentially avoid that feeling, I was 100% in, like diving in head first, because that's really important. And it's best that we stop the cycle of fat trauma if we can. So that's why I jumped in.
Yeah, so
also, it's just super cool to work with Mary.
I think we kind of answered what drew us to the project, and that was that. And now I thought maybe we could each kind of talk a little bit about what our main goal is with the project. And we have been kind of running around with a mission statement that hopefully will be crafted, finished someday. But basically, my whole goal is to give community to people who may not have always felt welcome in communities. Because doing this, I realized that there is just a lack of good fat representation. Like, there just is. There's quite a bit in romance, still not what should be there, but you can find it. But if you want to read fantasy, if you want to read just literature, there's not much there. And I want people to be able to see themselves in any genre. And I want people not only to be able to see themselves, but I want people to find a community, and people who will support you, and people who will say, this is important. And also a place where authors can come. So I want a place where readers can come and find books, but I want a place where authors can come to learn how to write about fat people in a less hurtful way. So those are my main goals for this.
I love that. One of the things that I've been doing a lot of reading about fat trauma, and some of the other pieces that go with having grown up in that fat experience. And one of the things that you said about growing a community here, one of the tenets of being traumatized, trauma is the combination of being overwhelmed and feeling alone. And so a lot of us have just lived in that about our bodies for a really long time. And so having a place that is full of people who look like us or people who are compassionate and wonderful about us and our bodies is magnificent and life-changing. It's seriously, I think it's going to be life-changing. I think it is for me already. So I think it's pretty magnificent. So yeah, my goal is to obviously to help support that because I just think it's transformative. I think it's going to make life easier for a lot of people, and I think they don't even know they need it yet.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's. I also want to do some. Well, I'll get to that.
Those were the questions that I had. Were the project
Okay.
and our main goal. So, questions.
Well, I was going to ask if there is any intended writing coming out of Fat Girls in Fiction. If there's anything that you're planning to write, if there's anything that I'm planning to write, if there's anything that we want to collaborate on together, if we want to get a call out for other people to collaborate with us. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, clearly there's the blog, which we're both working on, which is writing. And then I am right now crafting a short story to be part of a fantasy anthology that will all have fat female main characters, which is pretty phenomenal. And then I'm also working on a series of rom-coms personally that will have fat leads. So those are some projects that I'm working on, but I definitely think that there can be some collaboration, which we haven't really gotten into yet, but we're ground level on so much here, but I would totally be open to some stuff like that.
I was thinking, I got this in my head because of the work that I was doing on fat trauma, that one of the things that doesn't exist, and you can tell by looking at our page, is children's books that include fat positive content. And the reason for that is because people can accept that fat women want to accept themselves, but they for some reason can't accept fat children. They can't get past that. And that's a weird line, obviously, because we as adults are then responsible for what these children are consuming, et cetera, et cetera. So then that's where that line comes from, and I understand that. But I think I want to start writing at least some children's books about being a child of a fat parent, to start introducing that it's okay to, how much it's okay to embrace and love the people in your life, no matter what size they are. And I think that could also carry through, because once they pick up that lesson, they can apply that to the other children in their lives as well. So that was my thought right now. We have a section that's lying empty. We must fill it.
We do something there.
Yeah. So we'll work on that. That's on my goals list right now.
Awesome.
Where do you see Fat Girls in Fiction in 10 years?
You know, it's a crazy question, because this whole thing just started in January, and look where we already are. Like seriously, I read a book in January and was like, I need to read more of these books. And in reading more of these books was like, I need to make lists for people to find these books. And then those lists have morphed into this wonderful, growing, just bud of a community that I think is going to flourish into something really beautiful. And I'm hoping that, I mean, we have author interviews coming up, and I'm hoping to keep growing those. We have books that are being written with fat main characters because of this. But I also have bigger pictures. Like, I would love to do photo shoots.
Yes.
So that we can get some covers for books with fat women. Like, I want to, I have this dream in my mind of a photo shoot where there's like fantasy shoots going on and historical romance and just all of the covers that we need with the beautiful fat women. I know so many beautiful fat women that can be on the covers of these books. So that is something that I mean, that's probably down the road. We're got a lot to start out with now, but that I would love. And then another thing I would really love to do, and I haven't even talked to Katie about this yet, is like retreats. I would love writer retreats. I would love just almost like summer camp style fat women getting together, supporting each other style retreats, like just ways of building each other up and helping each other's work and finding some ways of doing those, which, like I said, that is in the future. Right now, we're just focusing on our little online community, but
I
that's
could totally
gold
see
for
that.
10 years.
Yeah, that's awesome. I can totally see that, especially in a post gestures broadly and everything world.
Right. If we can ever be in person again.
Right. We would love to do that. Yeah, that would be super exciting. I would really love that. And I love the idea of in 10 years our kids could be involved regardless of what their body shape is.
Yeah.
And they could, we are instilling this love and acceptance into the goal is to put it, into everyone, but the next generation is going to be the most receptive because that's just by the way that it works with children. But I just have such high hopes for that. And I think in 10 years, that's really going to be not only showing, but it'll be a big part of what we have. A big part of our community might be younger people. And that's just mind blowing. I have a lot of hopes and aspirations, but it's just really exciting to me. Yeah, and I don't have to I'm just really excited. But what do we have upcoming? What is your next things on the docket?
Well, tomorrow morning, I mean, it's not going to get posted tomorrow morning, but literally in a matter of hours, I'm going to be interviewing Olivia Dade. And I feel like most of the world is like, who? And I'm like, Olivia Dade is the person who changed my life. Like, honest to God, Olivia Dade is the person who changed my life. Reading her books is what started this whole thing, which...
Right. It's changed mine too.
Right. And so I'm interviewing her, kind of like what Katie and I are doing right now. We'll post it on YouTube, and we will post that closer to when we are doing book club, which will start in October. And there'll be more details coming on that. We still need to iron out some of the wrinkles as to how we're gonna actually facilitate the book club, but the book will be, spoiler alert. And the best way to keep updated to that is probably our Facebook group right now, because that's probably where we'll run a lot of it. There might be a Discord and some other things coming, but yeah. And then I have Wednesdays, I will be starting next week. I will be doing interviews with authors, and the first 3 that I'm doing are the authors, which I will be on the panel, the Right Women's Book Fest panel with. Leora Gonzalez is my first one next Wednesday, followed by Molly O'Hare, who today just became a USA Today bestseller. Like, she just hit the list. So we're very happy for Molly.
Yay!
And then 80. And then I'm going to start trying to do some of the women who are doing the fantasy book with me. My friend Nicole, who has a really... I'm excited. I haven't read the book yet, but her first book was Hazel's Shadow, and it was this YA zombie book. And her second book comes out in October. So we're going to talk about that coming up after I finish with the three authors I'm on a panel with. So that's coming up. And then, of course, there's the blogs and the reviews and the stuff that's always coming.
So much, always so much. But that's good. That's good. We're staying active. We're in it. We are investing. We're invested our time and our energy in making sure that this resource is here for people, and that's pretty amazing. I want
to say, if this means something to you, it's not free. Like, I hate this part. It makes me so uncomfortable. But in this video will be the link to my Patreon, and that right now is the best way to support this venture, because the website costs money. All of the things that we're doing cost money, and it is a labor of love, and we love doing it, but we would like to have help supporting it so that it's not all coming out of our pockets right now. So I hate it, but please, Patreon in the bottom. And Patreons, with these interviews coming up, you will get to ask authors questions. And then also I'm doing a fun, like, quick question answer with silly questions that will only be for Patreons. So everyone will get the full Olivia Dade interview, but there'll be a little quick, fun, silly part that's only for Patreons. So sign up.
That's super fun.
Okay,
that's super fun. No, it's good. That's great. And it's true. Every single part, from buying books to hosting the website to doing the website to all of the different stuff that we've been putting in hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. And it's true that we need help. We need support to do it, but and it's worth it. It's worth it. I have a couple of things on the back end of the website that I'm working on right now that are coming up, fun little surprises. And there's some things that I don't know that everybody knows are in the website, including the calendar that has release dates for books that we have, that we know of that are coming up. And some have sent the advanced copies to Mary and she reads them. And then we post the dates, the release dates coming up. So that's exciting. You can always go and look in there and find out any other events that we're also part of. Like if Mary's going to the Right Women's Book Fest. I'm looking at you, which is not the camera, but if we are going to have all that information in the calendar as well. I'm working on a program that will select your next book for you. So I'm calling it for this. I'm calling it the Oracle of Fat Fiction because that entertains the heck out of me. So I think that's going to be fun. And we have lots of little things that we're adding to it. We always want to know what other people are interested in, what they think they need to have positive representation for themselves, because we're not going to know everything that every single person needs. And like some of it's going to take time because I'm writing a blog right now on the feelings of fat trauma and how we sort of process that. And instead of just throwing it up on the blog, I've sent it to 2 trauma therapists to read it and make sure that that's what we want to go out there. We don't want to, I'm not a therapist, but I have my views on it and I've been in therapy. So I want to make sure that that's solid information though. And we don't want to misguide you in any way. So we have lots coming and everything's going to take time and everything's going to take resources, but this site's just going to build. It's just going to get bigger and bigger and better and more awesome. And we hope you'll come along for the ride.
Yay!
Yeah, that's where I'm at on it.
All right, so I think that about wraps us up. Check back because in October when we start the book club, I will then post the interview with Olivia Dade, and then I will post other fun interviews on the YouTube channel throughout. And the YouTube channel might grow. Like there's just so much. So TikTok is a great place where it all started. I am very active there. You can follow me there. Katie is running all of the other stuff wonderfully. So we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, we're on Twitter, which I don't have a Twitter, but Katie is doing all of that and she's doing it wonderfully. So
I'm gonna do in October, my plan is to do a giveaway of I bought a copy of Pumpkinheads to give out because I think it's too fun for October. So watch for that. There's gonna be giveaways coming up.
Yep, and Avon is sponsoring a giveaway when we finish, spoiler alert, for Olivia Dade's next book, All the Feels. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, so there's a lot of fun stuff happening. So make sure you check back and follow us where you can. And if you're in a place to give, the Patreon link is below and all the other ways to support us because it is a community and we can't do it on our own. All right.
And we're worth it, and so are you.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.